Picture this. A 14-year-old girl stands in a pink Beverly Hills bedroom, blood on her hands, watching a man take his final breaths on the plush carpet below. The man she just wounded wasn't some random intruder. He was her mother's lover, a dangerous mobster's bodyguard who had been terrorizing their family for months. That girl was Cheryl Crane, and her mother was one of Hollywood's biggest stars, Lana Turner. But this shocking night in 1958 was just the climax of a life that had been spiraling toward chaos since childhood. 9-year-old Julia Jean Turner had no idea that December morning in 1930 would change everything. Her father John had been out gambling again, and this time his luck at cards would cost him his life. He was found fatally beaten on a San Francisco street corner, his skull crushed by unknown assailants who stole his winnings. The little girl who would become Lana Turner was left fatherless, and this brutal loss would haunt her for the rest of her life. She would spend decades searching for a protective father figure, but instead kept finding men who embodied the very chaos that had destroyed her childhood. John Turner hadn't been the wholesome miner he appeared to be. He was a bootlegger and petty criminal whose dangerous lifestyle finally caught up with him, leaving his daughter with a twisted template for what masculinity looked like. The family had lived like nomads, constantly moving to escape his criminal associates, adopting fake identities to stay ahead of the trouble that seemed to follow them everywhere. Fast forward 6 years, and that traumatized girl was about to become Hollywood royalty by pure chance. 15-year-old Lana skipped typing class to grab a Coke at the Top Hat Cafe when W.R. Wilkerson, publisher of The Hollywood Reporter, spotted her natural beauty. Within months, she was cast in They Won't Forget, wearing a tight sweater that would make her an overnight sensation. The costume department had no idea they were creating a cultural phenomenon, but that sweater transformed an ordinary teenager into the sweater girl who would drive American men wild. MGM executives were so impressed they stole her from Warner Brothers, bumped her salary, and even demanded she shave off her eyebrows and draw them on for the rest of her life. At 16, Lana Turner was already trapped in a manufactured image that would define and destroy her personal relationships for decades. The studio system controlled every aspect of her life, from her appearance to her romantic relationships, creating a gilded prison that would shape her desperate need for authentic connection. Movies became her escape from a harsh reality where she and her mother lived paycheck to paycheck. By saving quarters from her lunch money, young Lana could afford weekly matinees, where she studied stars like Kay Francis and Norma Shearer, dreaming of glamorous costumes and a life far removed from their modest apartments. When director Mervyn LeRoy discovered her, he saw something special beneath her nervous exterior. Her hands were trembling so badly she could barely read the script, but he recognized that mysterious quality that separated movie stars from mere actresses. The transformation was swift and brutal. Within months, she was earning more money than most adults, but the price was her childhood and any chance at normal relationships. Success couldn't fill the void left by her father's tragic end, and Lana began a pattern of choosing increasingly dangerous men. Her first serious relationship was lawyer Greg Bowser, who seemed perfect until Joan Crawford revealed she was also involved with him. This betrayal sent her straight into the arms of band leader Artie Shaw, a narcissistic control freak who treated her like an untrained animal. Shaw expected her to be the perfect housewife, keeping her home pristine, cooking his meals, and reading only books he approved. Their intimate life was reportedly disastrous, and he made no effort to hide his contempt for what he saw as her inferior intelligence. After their disastrous 4-month marriage ended, she discovered she was pregnant, and the studio forced her to terminate the pregnancy. Another secret trauma that deepened her dependence on alcohol and dangerous men. But the most dangerous choice was yet to come. In 1957, at the peak of her career comeback, Lana received mysterious phone calls from someone calling himself John Steele. The flowers, gifts, and persistent attention wore down her defenses until she agreed to meet him. John Steele was actually Johnny Stompanato, a bodyguard for notorious mobster Mickey Cohen, who specialized in blackmailing Hollywood's elite. He had been studying Lana for months, learning her preferences from people on her movie sets, crafting the perfect seduction. Stompanato wasn't just any criminal. He worked for Mickey Cohen, who had taken over Bugsy Siegel's criminal empire after Siegel was eliminated in Beverly Hills. Cohen's network included studio moguls and major stars, and he used information about their private lives as leverage for his criminal operations.
Stompanato's true nature emerged gradually, like a slow-acting poison. He followed Lana to London during filming, showed up on set with a weapon, and had to be physically removed by Sean Connery. The threats escalated when Lana attended the 1958 Academy Awards without him. She returned home from her Oscar nomination celebration to find him waiting in the dark, and he physically attacked her for excluding him from Hollywood's biggest night. The man who had seemed charming and protective revealed himself as a controlling abuser who threatened to disfigure her face, break her legs, and harm her family if she ever tried to leave. Lana was trapped by fear and shame, unable to call police because it would destroy her career and possibly get her family hurt by Cohen's criminal organization. During one terrifying incident, he broke into her apartment through the fire escape, held a pillow over her face until she nearly lost consciousness, then tried to kiss her while she screamed and cursed at him. The final confrontation began over something seemingly trivial. Stompanato had lied about his age, and when Lana discovered the truth, their argument escalated into chaos. He grabbed her by the arm, shook her aggressively, and made his usual threats about controlling her forever. 14-year-old Cheryl, listening from her room, heard him threaten to cut her mother and grandmother into little pieces. Terrified, she grabbed a kitchen knife and positioned herself outside her mother's bedroom door. When Stompanato finally left the room with his arm raised, Cheryl thought he was about to strike her mother with a clothes hanger. In that split second, she stepped forward and plunged the knife into his stomach. Johnny Stompanato staggered backwards, gasped, "Oh my God, Cheryl, what have you done?" and collapsed on the pink bedroom carpet, passing away within minutes. The knife still had the price tag on it, from when they had bought the kitchen set just days earlier, with Stompanato ironically helping to select the very weapon that would end his life. The aftermath became the biggest Hollywood scandal of the decade. Mickey Cohen's men broke into Stompanato's apartment and stole love letters between him and Lana, which newspapers published in full, exposing their intimate relationship to the world. The letters revealed the passionate intensity of their affair, with Lana calling him honeypot darling and daddy darling, while later correspondence showed her growing desperation to escape his control. The coroner's inquest turned into a media circus, with Lana's dramatic testimony broadcast nationwide. She broke down on the witness stand describing the months of terror, and the jury quickly ruled it justifiable defense. Cheryl was placed in her grandmother's custody, while Lana faced a civil lawsuit from Stompanato's family demanding over $700,000. But instead of destroying her career, the scandal somehow made her more popular than ever. Her next film, Imitation of Life, became the biggest hit of her career, earning her over $1 million, and proving that sometimes in Hollywood, even the darkest scandals can be turned into gold. Lana Turner's story reveals the devastating price of fame in Hollywood's golden age. A traumatized child who lost her father to brutality grew up to become one of cinema's biggest stars, only to find herself trapped in the same cycle of danger that had destroyed her family. Her 8 marriages, her attraction to controlling men, and her daughter's desperate act of defense all trace back to that December morning in 1930, when 9-year-old Julia Jean Turner's world exploded into chaos. The most chilling part isn't the tragic incident itself, but how predictable it seems in hindsight. Lana Turner spent her entire life unconsciously recreating her father's end, drawn to dangerous men like a moth to a flame, until chaos finally found its way into her pink Beverly Hills bedroom. The question isn't whether tragedy was inevitable in Lana Turner's life, but whether Hollywood's dream factory actually fed on the very trauma it claimed to help stars escape.